So I've got a special request to say, how do I bring in a custom image into Stager, Adobe Substance Stager, and get the model that I built to look like it's actually sitting on that? How do I do that match image trick? Let's take a look. I'm sharing my screen and we're gonna go look at Adobe Substance Stager. Here I am with kind of a groovy little background, nothing to it. Really nice modeling on this hat, this baseball cap. Just brought this in from the starter assets, gave it some color, brought a logo in, plopped it on there. It's like ridiculous how cool and easy it is to do something like this. But I want to dress it up more. I want to have a place within which this hat looks as though it belongs. So I can bang around in here inside images and choose an existing image of a place and set it in there. Or I can come in here and say File, Import. I want to bring in an image as a background. And it shows you your setup and you say, I want my coffee table. I want to put this baseball cap in my house. And maybe I want to rotate it a little bit. So again, I'm not changing the angle of the picture. All I'm doing is fooling around with a hat. And maybe it's a little too big, so I'm going to pull out a little bit. Maybe it's about like that. So there I am. But you all say, Tom, yeah, that's cool, but it doesn't look like it's actually there. It's just floating in space. You're 100% right. So what we want to do right now is come to this little button right here. I'm now, because I brought in an image, I made a camera. You notice what happens here? If I undo what I just did, floopity, 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 all those are cameras. All those are images that got brought in to be a camera. Before that, I didn't have a camera here. So if I go back to the very beginning, I've got a viewport camera. That's how I'm looking at this right now. I'm looking through a pretend camera. But as soon as I bring in an image and say I do want to have a background on this thing, it invents a camera for me. Image is background. I go coffee table, open, and poof, I now have a camera right there. So inside the sidebar right here, I've got a camera. And that, if I flip to that one right now, because right now it's still on the viewport camera, show me my camera, thank you. And there I am with my baseball cap. Again, I can, fool around with how I want to orient that thing. So it's worth remembering that you are looking at a camera. And if you said, yeah, I also want to have a camera, another location. I want to show the back of this hat, for example, to my client. So I'll show you how to do that in just a second. First, what we're going to do is get this hat to look like it's sitting on this coffee table. Now, this is one of the coolest things. I'm sorry, I'm still gobsmacked every time I do this, because what it's doing is saying match the image aspect ratio of the photo so that the image, this photograph fits the aspect ratio of the camera that I'm using. So I'm working with a horizontal landscape picture. Yes, I want my camera to match that. The image size and the create lights here, outdoor sunlight. I'd like to actually create multiple lights. It's not just one light source on this thing. So create multiple lights for me and then match the camera's perspective. I do want that to also happen. So if I hit OK, and then it says, oh man, are you kidding me? I got a lot of work to do. It goes away and does it. And then it puts it down onto that. Now, I don't know about you, that looks pretty crappy. Maybe what we want to do is go back and hit match image. And instead of multiple lights, let's try outdoor sunlight and see if we can get a better view of this thing. Bomb, 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 bomb. And then it says doink. And there's my outdoor sunlight. Still pretty coarse. I don't know about you. You know what I bet it is? I'll bet it's ray tracing. So I've got ray tracing turned off up here right now. Speeds up your process, doesn't give you as good a look in an image. If I turn on ray tracing, now it says, oh, now I got to do a whole bunch of work. I've got a light source coming in back here that I'm going to have to use to light that. I'm going to create a little shadow here. Really nice. All of a sudden, it starts to feel like, that's kind of plausible. I might want to add another light source to that thing, but this video is about cameras and what I'm doing with that. Here's my little add me a camera right here. I'm going to create another camera, a second camera. I can call it something else if I want to. Camera back. So I can change the name right there. And in camera 2, I can say what I really want to do is to show the back of this hat, how it looks. So I can kind of spin around like that using my orbit tool. Whoa. Get to the back. And then again, say match my image. So I'm not worried about how wonky that turned out. So then I do the match image. It again moves the light source around to the other side to make sure that it looks like it's still there. And there we go. And then I can kind of, you know, put that into position. It's a bit of work, but that's how you would bring in a custom image and do that match image trick to get that to look like it's still sitting there. So now I can go, show me what that looks like from the front. I can flip camera to camera. Camera. Thank you. There's my first view and there's my second view. So I can create multiple views in here and be able to see how is this looking in different places. So you can see I've got some farting around to do, but basically that's the idea of setting up custom background and match image. Okay, hope you had fun. See ya.